Folks, next story, awfully tragic, involving the death of a little baby. 2-year-old baby Noah is dead. The defendant in the case, his own mother, and today was declared competent to stand trial. That means there will be a trial for the mother of baby Noah. Julie Grant has more.
Noah, everyone loved you.
Baby Noah Tomlin's sudden disappearance rocked the community of Hampton, Virginia.
They've checked under houses, they've checked in sheds, they've checked cars. I'm hoping they checked the trash cans. I'm hoping that's why it hasn't been picked up. They've had drones out here, they've had dogs out here.
The 2-year-old was living in the Bayside Mobile Home Village with his mother, Julia Tomlin, and 2 other siblings. The morning of June 24th, 2019, Tomlin reports baby Noah missing, and a massive search ensues.
We put so many different sets of eyes on the immediate search area.
Law enforcement and community members teaming up, searching for baby Noah.
So any scrap of clothing, any diapers, any evidence that may lead us in a particular direction, we want to take that into consideration.
At the Hampton landfill, city crews sift through 2 million pounds of garbage, hoping baby Noah could still be alive.
We feel very confident that we have exhausted all reasonable efforts and all reasonable resources in our search area.
Then on day 10, a grisly discovery. Baby Noah is found dead at the Hampton Steam Plant, the place where city waste goes to burn. His autopsy results revealing his skull was fractured in 2 places. The cause of death, blunt force trauma to the head, with signs of battered child syndrome. The manner of death, homicide.
We'll always love you. And Jesus will take care of you.
Julia Tomlin told investigators her baby hit his head while in the bathtub unattended and drowned. But investigators found her story to be inconsistent with the horrific evidence in the case. The 35-year-old is charged with murder, unlawful disposal of a dead body, and child neglect.
And this is a defendant, a woman, a mother who had prior abuse allegations. This was a baby that had been in foster care earlier. Let's bring back in our think tank, Bernarda. Unfortunately, we see this, and I wonder, ultimately the person who commits the crime is the one that is responsible. But when you're talking about a baby and you're talking about a child like this, it seems that the system let this child down as well.
Yeah, the system definitely failed this child. The system definitely failed Noah. It's so unfortunate that this woman who gave birth to this angel, to this child who's 2 years old, who can't fight back, who can't protect himself, who can't yell for help or call for help, but yet the same person that's designed to protect the baby is the one who takes away his life. Departments, those agencies that are open to look over kids where there are allegations of some kind of neglect, they also failed Noah. And unfortunate, because of their failure, Noah is no longer here. Noah did not have anyone fighting for him. Noah didn't have anyone speaking up for him. Noah did not have anyone, period.
Joseph Marone, you think when we get to trial, we're going to hear the old story about the child hit his head on the bathtub, and this was all just an accident, like a child accidentally drowning in the pool in the backyard? I've heard that one before too.
Well, it depends. So here's why it depends. If the evidence is overwhelming, and it looks like it, that this lady, I don't call her a lady, I don't want to call her, but she abused this child. I think what the defense team is going to do is they're going to take those medical reports, even though she's competent to stand trial. There's probably evidence in there that she has mental illness. She's going to probably, if they won't make a plea deal, she'll plead open. She's going to put herself at the mercy of the court. She's going to ask for various mitigating factors, and she's going to say she had a mental illness. She may have been on drugs, and she's going to take the best case scenario. It's not life in prison, and I think that's what's going to happen. They'll never try this case. This case is horrific.
Jeffrey Wolf, and I don't know what the facts are going to play out here, but in similar cases like this, there's always seems to be drugs circulating around all of it, especially when it comes to the death of these children. And the part I don't understand is, why do these parents, they've got drug issues, they know they do, they've got a baby, how can they not understand that there are people who will take care of these children? There were people who will welcome these children with open arms and love them and nurture them and protect them. And they and their drug problems or whatever issues that they're dealing with can go deal with it and try to get yourself okay. But just, you know what? I understand it's your child, but do what's best for your own child. How does that not happen?
Well, I think it's easy to say, why don't they just get the help they need? Why don't they just get the kid the resources the kid needs? But we see it all too often. The resources are often not there. We're looking at obviously a low-income family when we see the scene and we see the type of home that she was living in with Noah. We have a person who comes from a low-income neighborhood. They don't necessarily get the same resources from the Department of Human Services or Child Protective Services or whatever they call it in Virginia. And as a result, they don't know that there are people out there, and there aren't always people out there. There is this huge idea that every child could have a good home, that there are always people who need a child, want a child. But number one, kids that go into foster care or into the system are often abused as bad or worse than they were in their home. And number two is that those kids from those low-income homes that come with those problems, that come with those, learning disabilities and things that can come from having a parent who used drugs either before, during, or after the childbirth, they don't always have an easy home to go to, because there are a lot of foster families out there that don't want to take on that extra burden and don't want to do the right thing by those kids. And so when we talk about why didn't the mom get the kid out of there, that is not something, number one, that she was necessarily mentally capable of doing. And number two, the system is the problem here. And when, before, again, I don't want to go backwards like we did before, but when we talk about defunding the police, we're not talking about getting rid of police. We're talking about taking money that we spend on tanks and tear gas and other things that are destroying our communities and putting it back into the systems that these people need to have a social net that can catch them when this happens, so that there are resources for babies like Noah, so that his mother isn't left to her own devices to do whatever happened here or leave baby Noah with nowhere to turn.